Welcome back to Bay Area Focus. She is a Spartan race world champion, has been featured in Sports Illustrated, and inspires young women to push the boundaries. Amelia Boone is sitting down with me now to talk about her illustrious career. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so what drove you to obstacle racing, and what exactly is it?
So a lot of people are like, I don't quite understand.
Right.
But so I tell people, you picture it, so it's a courses of all different lengths, from 3 miles up to 28, 30 miles. And you're running, but then you're crawling and you're jumping and you're climbing. So it's this full body experience. You know, you're doing things like hoisting yourself over walls and climbing up ropes and carrying buckets up mountains. And so it's really like a playground for adults. And I think that's really what drew me to it. And that was, you know, a few years ago, and I was working as an attorney, and I was like, that looks like fun. Let's go try that out. And it's spiraled since.
See, I like when you hear that, you know, going uphill with buckets, you think fun. I think, ouch, that's a lot of work.
It is, but there's something fun about the pain and the pleasure that comes from feeling like you've really accomplished something out there.
And you really did. You're a former Spartan race world champion. What does that mean to you?
It's pretty incredible. I'm not gonna lie. When I won the world championships a few years ago, I didn't really understand at the time like what that meant, and I was like, well, I just like running up and down mountains and climbing over things. And since then, the sport has exploded in popularity, and you can see it broadcast all over the place now, and just the numbers are growing and growing. So I've kind of gotten in on the ground floor and was as a pioneer of the sport.
And you had a bit of a setback with an injury, right?
I did. So I ended up with a fracture in my femur last spring. So I was out of racing this entire past year. So this is kind of my season to start again. But it was hard to be sidelined for that long.
I'm sure it was. So you are gearing up for a race in Monterey? And when is that?
Yeah, so the Monterey race, it's June 3rd, and it's down at Toro Park outside of Monterey and Salinas. And so it's our second race. We have this U.S. Championship Series, that are a series of 5 races, and this is the second race and the iteration of that.
And how are you preparing? Because you want to set out to make history. You want to be the first 2-time overall Spartan race world champion. Did I say that correctly? That's a lot to say.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, right?
Yeah, how do you prepare for that?
Yeah, it's tough because I think that for me, coming back from injury this year, I have to be very careful in building up momentum and building up my training. But it's a lot of trail running, it's a lot of hiking, and it's a lot of strength work. Because the thing with Spartan race, and this is what I tell people, people ask me, how do you train? I say you need to be a very well-rounded athlete. You need to be strong, you need to have endurance, you need to have speed. And so you're trying to combine all of those in that perfect little formula.
So obviously, you know, this sounds like it's very empowering to you, but I think also to other people, especially maybe young girls who are looking at you for inspiration. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I love it. Actually, my favorite part about these races are the kids' races that happen. So if anyone's out there and wants to go out and run a Spartan race, bring your kids, because kids as young as 4 can get out there and can run around. And obviously a shortened course. They're not running the 8 to 10 mile version.
It's good.
And really, I mean, the kids love this stuff. And so it's meeting the children and seeing them and really talking to them and just seeing their passion for it. It's really what makes me tick with all of this.
Is this a male-dominated field?
It is generally, it used to be very, very male heavy, but more and more we've seen more women come into the sport, and I think now we're about 50-50 in terms of race entrants. And we're seeing more and more women actually competing and inching towards that male podium, which is kind of fun to see.
That's good. Keep recruiting the women out
there.
You mentioned that you are a corporate attorney for Apple. How do you balance all of that? How do you do? That's a pretty demanding job, and then training is demanding as well.
Yeah, it's not always a perfect fit. You know, you make sacrifices, but I train really early in the mornings, and so I'm up before work. I get my training in, and then you know, head to work for the day. And so I like juggling multiple balls in the air, and I like kind of, keeping myself busy, and to me, that's part of the challenge.
Well, sounds like you're definitely doing that. What is the best part about being a part of Spartan Race?
It's really the community. I tell people that there are those of us that go out and run in these elite and competitive waves, and we're in it for the victories and the podiums, etc. But people go out there, and I tell people, when you go out to your first race, go out with a group of friends, run it for fun. And a lot of these obstacles, you can help people. You help other people over these walls or up these ropes. And the community that develops out there is so incredible. And people are out there struggling together, and that forms those bonds. And so, to me, that's what has kept me coming back.
Well, you are doing such great work. I wish you luck in Monterey.
Thank you.
Hope you do well.
Thanks.
And thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And to find out more about Amelia Boone, just log on to AmeliaBooneRacing.com. Coming up after the break, we are talking to another inspiring guest who turned his life around. We'll be right back.